Phew! Now I can breathe again.
That was a close shave, all right. But he seemed like a pretty reasonable sort of fellow. That man was proud. What he has to be proud of, I don't know. I played up to that pride, Kelly. You can get to anybody if you want to.
Dr. Sanderson, you say you can get to anybody if you want to. How do you do that?
Take study, Kelly. Years of specialized training. There's just one thing I don't like about this Dowd business.
And what's that?
Having to make that date with him. Of course, he left you as a good friend and a booster to the sanitarium. So I'll have to go with him. But you don't have to.
Oh.
No point now. I'll go, pat him on the back, and leave. I have a date tonight anyway.
Oh, by all means. I didn't plan on going anyway. I wouldn't go if it was the last thing I ever did. I wouldn't go if my life depended on it.
What are you getting so emotional about, Kelly?
He may be a peculiar man with funny clothes, but he knows how to act. His manners were perfect.
I saw you give him the Belpa stare. I didn't miss that.
He wouldn't sit down till I sat down. He said I was lovely and he called me dear. I'd have a drink with him if you weren't going.
Of course you would. And look at him. All he does is drink. He doesn't work. All that corny bowing and getting up every time a woman makes a move, well, he's as outdated as a cast iron deer. But you'd sit in a bar and drink with him and let him flatter you. You're a wonderful girl, Kelly.
Let me tell you something, you good for
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly.
Yes, Doctor?
Tell the guard to improve more carefully on my prized dial along the fence by the main road. They'll be ready for cutting next week. The difficulty with the woman and the rabbit, has it been smoothed over?
Yes, Doctor. I spoke with the brother. He was quite reasonable.
I've had many patients who have seen animals, but never an animal this big.
Yeah, Doctor. She called him Harvey.
Harvey. Unusual name for an animal of any kind. Harvey's a man's name. This case has an interesting face, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
I will now go with you and look on the Simmons woman. We may be able to use my Formula 977 on her. I will aid you in prescribing the treatment.
Thank you, Doctor.
Whose head could it be?
I don't know, Doctor. You know Miss Kelly with the Dowds?
I don't think so. He had his head on when he left. Maybe it's a relative to one of the patients.
Here, let me see. Perhaps there's some sort of identity. Look at that. 2 holes in the crown of the head. Some new fat. Put him away, hang him up, get him out of here.
Oh, hello, Dr. Chumley.
Oh, there you are, Wilson.
How's every little old thing?
Fine, Wilson, just fine.
Okay, look. Somebody's got to give me a hand with this Simmons thing. Or a restraining order or something. I'm just saying, she's crazy. Forgot about me, didn't you? Well, I gotta course it off all by myself.
We're going to see this patient now, Wilson.
She's in the ivy tub. My God, there's a water ring on her!
Oh, dear.
Remember your promise, Willie. Hello, Dr. Sanderson. Willie, you haven't forgotten Dr. McClure's cocktail party, have you? We did promise them faithfully.
I have to run upstairs and take a case right now, but I'll be right back down.
With quick well diagnosis, Willie, we don't want to be late to that party. I am dying to see the inside of that house. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Mrs. Chumley, Dr. Chumley's wife.
Dowd's my name. Elwood P. Let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this one. Don't call me at that one, because that's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
What did you have in mind?
Well, you seem to be looking for someone.
Yes, I am. I'm looking for Harvey.
Harvey, is he a patient here?
Oh no, nothing like that.
Well, does he work here?
Oh no, he's what you might call my best friend. He is also a puka. He came out here with me and Veta this afternoon.
Well, where was he when you last saw him?
In that chair there, with his hat and coat on the table.
Well, there doesn't seem to be a hat coat around here now. Perhaps he left?
Apparently, I don't see him anywhere.
What was that word you just said? Puka.
Yes, that's right.
Something new?
Oh no, as I understand it, it's something very old.
Really? I never happened to hear it before.
I'm not too surprised at that. I hadn't happened to hear it myself until I met him. I do hope you get the opportunity to meet him, Mrs. Chumley. I'm sure he'd be quite taken with you.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Not at all. If Harvey happens to take a liking to people, he expresses himself quite definitely. If he's not particularly interested, he sits there like an empty chair or an empty space on the floor. Harvey takes his time making his mind up about people. A choosy, you see.
Well, that's not such a bad way to be this day and age.
Harvey is fond of my sister Veta. That's because Harvey is fond of me. Veta and I come from the same family. Now you'd think that feeling would be mutual, wouldn't you? Well, Veta doesn't seem to care for Harvey. Don't you think that's rather too bad, Mrs. Chumley?
I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to get along with my friends. It's useless, really.
But we must keep trying.
There's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey has said to me once, he has said to me at least 1,000,000 times, Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you. Mrs. Chumley.
Yes?
Did you know that Mrs. McAleese, Aunt Rose, is going to drop in on her unexpectedly tonight from Cleveland?
No, I didn't.
Neither does she. That puts you both in the same boat, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know a
Mrs. McAleese lives right next door to us. She's a wonderful woman. Harvey told me about her Aunt Rose. That's a very interesting little news item, and you're perfectly free to pass it around.
Well,
Would you care to come downtown with me now, my dear? I'd be glad to buy you a drink.
thank you, but I'm waiting for Dr. Chumley. If he came down to find me gone, he'd be liable to raise hell. Would be very irritating with me.
We wouldn't want that now, would we? Some other time, maybe?
I'll tell you what I'll do, however.
What will you do, however?
If your friend comes in while I'm still here, I'd be glad to give him a message for you.
Would you do that? I'd certainly appreciate that.
No trouble at all. Already on the back of this. What would you like me to tell your friend?
Tell him to meet me downtown, if he has no other plans.
Any particular place downtown?
He knows where. Harvey knows this town like a book.
Harvey? You know where? Harvey what?
Just Harvey.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
What will you do?
The doctor and I are going right downtown, to 12th and Montague. Dr. McClure is having a cocktail party.
A cocktail party at 12th and Montague.
We're driving there in a few minutes, and we'd be happy to give your friend a lift into town.
I hate to impose on you, but I'd certainly appreciate that.
No trouble at all. Dr. McClure is having this cocktail party for his sister from Wichita.
Dr. McClure has a sister from Wichita?
Oh, you know Dr. McClure.
No.
But that doesn't...
You're quite sure you haven't time to come into town with me and have a drink?
Thank you, but I really couldn't.
Some other time, perhaps?
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you. And I hope to see you again.
Yes, so do I.
Good night, my dear. You can't miss Harvey. He's very tall. Like that.
That Simmons woman is uncooperative, Doctor. She refuses to tell me that she sees a rabbit because it's her brother. Give her 2 of these at 9, another at 10, and perhaps some more hydro tubs before the morning. That should be more cooperative.
Yes, Doctor.
Right. You know where to call me if you need me. Ready, Pat?
Yes, Willie? Oh, Willie?
Yes.
There was a man in here. A man named... let me see. Elwood P. Dowd?
That's Mr. Simmons' brother. I gave him full visiting privileges.
Well, she won't be seeing anyone tonight. No one at all.
Yes, Doctor.
Well, he didn't ask to see her. He was looking for someone, some friend of his.
Who could that be, Dr. Sanderson?
I don't know, Doctor.
Well, he said it was someone who came out here this afternoon.
Was there anyone like that when you saw Miss Kelly?
No, not when I saw him.
Well, he said there was. Said he last saw his friend sitting with his hat and coat, right over there. He seemed quite disappointed.
Dr. Sanderson.
I told him if we located his friend, we could give him a lift into town. Was that all right, Willie?
Yes, of course.
Oh, here's his name. It's on the card. Harvey.
Harvey?
He didn't mention a last name, but he said something else about him. Puka. Didn't quite get what that was, though.
Harvey.
He says Fred was very tall. Well, why are you looking like that, Willie? This was a very nice, very polite man, and he merely asked that we give his friend a lift into town.
Where did he go, Mrs. Chumley? How long ago was he in here?
By George, give me that hat. We'll find out about this. Gaffney, Judge.
Man Gate, Henry, Dr. Sanderson. Did a man in a brown coat with the gate just a minute ago? He did. He's gone.
Hello? Yes, Judge Gaffney. This is Dr. William Chumley, the psychiatrist. I'm calling to confirm the spelling of the name before we enter into our records. Judge, you phoned out here earlier about a client of yours being committed. And how is that name spelled? With a W, not a U, Mr. Elwood P. Dowd. Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson, I do believe your name is Sanderson.
Yes, Doctor.
You know that much, do you? You went to medical school, you specialized in psychiatry, you graduated, you went forth. Perhaps they neglected to tell you that a rabbit has large pointed ears, and that a hat for a rabbit would have to be perforated to make room for those ears.
That seemed reasonable enough this afternoon, Doctor.
Doctor, the function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between those who are reasonable and those who merely talk and act reasonably. Do you know what you've done to me? You don't answer, I'll tell you. You've permitted a psychopathic case to walk off these grounds, and doing so subjected me, a psychiatrist, to the humiliation of having to call, of all things, a lawyer to find out who came out here to be committed and who came out here to commit.
Dr. Chumley.
You wait. Wilson, I need you. I will not have to go out and do something I haven't done in 15 years. I'll have to go out after this patient, Elwood P. Dowd, and bring him back to the sanitarium. And when I do, your connection with this institution is terminated as of that moment. Wilson, get in the car. Pet, call the tours and tell them that we can't make it. Kelly, come upstairs and we'll get the woman out of town.
Yes, Doctor.
But now I have to tell the cook we'll be home for dinner. She'll be furious. Wilson,
Yes, ma'am?
what's a puka?
Oh, what?
A puka.
Miss Chumley, you can search me.
I wonder if in the encyclopedia here they have everything. I wonder if it's a language or what it is. I don't dare stop do this now. Dr. Chumley won't want to find me here when he comes back. He'll raise hell. Oh dear.
Oh, what? P-O-O-K-A. Puka, from old Celtic mythology, a fairy spirit in animal form. The puka is very large. It appears here and there, now and then, to this one and that one. It is very fond of run pots, crack pots, and how are you, Mr. Wilson? What?
Who in the encyclopedia wants to know? To hell with it!